Hi, welcome to Happiness Matters Podcast Edition. This is Goddess Valentina, the Healing Goddess. I have a quest to send love, enlightenment to the planet. It's my universal right to do my part and to send a heartfelt love message. Today I want to talk about the real blessings with angel cards. Now, I'm not into tarot, cards. I don't, go nowhere near them for my own personal reasons. But there are a lot of people that do. I have created my own positive energy deck with enlightenment and wisdom. I've also created a deck of energy healing. I work with crystals, intelligence. I just love wisdom. I've always wanted to be really wise. And as I get older, I'm becoming a little bit more wiser and wiser as the days go on. But I just want to let you know, if you're thinking about getting a deck of angel cards, where to start, is angel card scary and stuff like that. And so I love angel cards. When I started to, I saw a lot of people on YouTube doing angel readings, and I just fell in love with them. I thought they were so sweet, especially Doreen Virtue's. She has these unicorn cards. This ain't unicorn cards. Why would I even want to do this? This is ridiculous. Let me tell you something. I purchased the unicorn deck, and she was right. These cards can bring you to tears. The message is so simple. It can knock down a building from its foundation. The unicorn cards have touched so many hearts that I've known and even brought tears to people. The unicorn cards are just absolutely beautiful. And if you ever, interested, go on YouTube, search Doreen Virtue unicorn cards. You could see people doing unicorn readings. It's so wonderful. But my message to you today is there's this deck called the Magic Flower Kingdom. I love this deck. It's so beautiful. But before I started making my own cards, that was my go-to angel deck. And it had so many lessons for me. And when you're working with intention, when you're working with energy, when you're working on these things, sometimes people need to know what's going on. What's the barometer? Where am I with things? And, but even if with me, I can feel which card to pick, because my left hand has been tuned to that from the universal energy. And it was hard from the beginning. I always use a quartz crystal. So I would say, if you are interested in getting a nice angel deck of cards, accompany it with a really high, powerful crystal. I normally use clear quartz crystal with the point, or I use the amethyst crystal with the jagged edges. Those are the only two I use. Because they're with their clairvoyance and their purity and they amplify, and they help me. If my energy is not flowing properly, it helps me to pick up. It's it picks up more of the energy, and I'm able to feel which card should be selected. I just can't just run over and know. It takes me a little minute to pick up which card is the correct one. But they're great. Let me tell you why. When you are, when you're praying and you're focusing on something, the cards will kind of give you the same message. If you do a reading, you should really do a reading no more than once a month. I mean, you could pull your daily cards. People like to do that. I just never got into doing that. I personally didn't find them effective, but people do. When they pull a card every day, there's a new message, something to think and to reflect. A lot of these angel cards have huge, huge, huge amounts of wisdom. Tons. And it's stuff that a lot of, it's not an average day conversation. These cards helped me with my immigration case. I was getting a lot of protecting, shielding. There was a lady and she was in a ball, and it dealt with protecting and shielding yourself, grounding yourself, illuminating, keeping the light around you, don't give into the darkness and stuff like that. Because, I was 3 years in this pool. And I was like, when am I going to stop getting this picture with this lady in the globe, I was getting kind of aggravated. And then when it was coming soon, that my husband would get, go ahead, have his interview, and, now he's here. But when that was coming soon, I have a lot of angel cards, but I have like a couple of my favorites, and this is before I created my own cards. They were always saying, doors are going to open, doors are opening, love is flowing, your answers have been, granted. It was one after the other, after the other, after the other. And the last reading I got was my favorite card. And the card was uniting. And it was just a whole bunch of love. And that card actually just made me cry, because I was just packing my suitcase, getting ready to get on the plane to go overseas. And my husband he did get the visa. And it was an exciting moment. But like, some people need to know what's going on, and sometimes there's no signs for a while. And the key is not to give up the faith. The key is continue to stay consistent. But sometimes we need a little extra message or guidance, because a lot of times we don't have the guidance. We need something that's different than our thinking. We need a new perspective. So I would encourage you to look for a beautiful deck of angel cards. I got cards with colors on it. I love colors. And I love that deck with colors. Unicorn cards. I have goddess cards. I have angel cards. And the angel cards were really good too. They really get right down to it. I don't do with cards with yes or no. I don't deal with that kind of stuff, because it could be no today, but if you make a different decision that you normally wouldn't make, it could be yes. So I don't deal with any futuristic stuff. It's just not my cup of tea at all, because every day we can make little different changes that shape our tomorrows. So it's very important to focus on today, the now, today, and so I was at one point, I was not talking good. Like, I was like very negative kind of because of immigration. I was frustrated. With people. I just had a lot of spew. And I got a beautiful card that says, impeccable speech. You need to have impeccable speech to radiate the vibration of what you want. And having impeccable speech and having discretion, know when to pull back when speaking. You don't have to always say everything. It strengthens your power. It strengthens your throat chakra. It raises your vibration up, and it actually starts to bless your situation. So that card really took me aback. And then, I was thinking about my parents, because they didn't know I was married. It's a long story. But anyway, I did a reading, and it showed me an iceberg, that if this is not revealed, it could really cause something, major to happen. It really disturbed me when I got the iceberg. And that was one deck that I don't use anymore, but because I just didn't like the way it felt, the vibe of it. It just wasn't. It wasn't just as colorful and vivid and bright, but I did receive the message from this card, and I do thank the card for it. And I did have, my parents did not take it so gracefully. They really went in on me for 3 days of screaming, yelling, and tearing me apart. They were so pissed off with everything of my ever being. Towards hatred. Like, yeah, it was really bad. It was a tough little patch, but I was happy it was done. It was over with. And then I went to healing and recovery. But once I told my parents about this, all of my cards shifted. Everything shifted because that was major. Because the cards were going one way because I held the secret. So I was just getting these certain type of spreads. And they were all basically saying the same thing. And sometimes it'd be the same cards constantly coming up. And when I made that change, that's when other doors started opening. So that's why I don't talk about future and stuff like that. When you got to deal with today. You got to deal with what you're dealing with today. You know what I mean? So I've learned so much with these cards. And I would get a very high vibrational deck. Something of very light and bright and deals with, just very light and bright cards that have beautiful messages. Because it should be a loving message. And it doesn't have to always be so extra positive, but you can say something in a way that it is received and you can work on it. You know what I mean? So I think that there's a really, and the people that are creating these cards, they're really working off high vibration and they just want to give out a good message too. And the artwork is phenomenal. Like if you just stare at the artwork alone, it can take you to a million places. So yeah, really think about it. I think that it's really great, when you're praying and you need a message, and there is nothing. You could be, there's times when you're in the valley, they call it the valley, where you're doing everything you're supposed to do and you haven't seen anything in like months. And that's when people can go off track. That's when people can lose patience. So I would, call on Archangel Michael, which I do. Call on Archangel Raphael, which is the healing angel. Call on Archangel Uriel, which will illuminate the situation for you, and call on those angels. Go in sacred space and say, God, please, I need a message. Show me something, and see what kind of energy that you pull. You don't have to be psychic to pull a card. The cards are energy, and based on your energy and based on your intuition, you will pull the right card. It's just like that. And you just make sure you clean your cards. I create a herbal formula that I always smoke my cards, and before any reading, I smoke my cards, and I pray and cleanse my cards. I cleanse before and I cleanse after, and I always keep crystals around them to keep it at high vibration. And before I use any cards, I have them tuned in with the moonlight and the sun. It could be for a few days. I'll know when the cards will speak to you, when you need to pull them. And I will just continue to do that. Sometimes it might take 3 days, 4 days, a week. I just let them sit there and get charged up. When, you got to bring energy. You got to bring the energy, the life form to your cards. You just can't pull them out the deck and get started. No, there's a blessing that has to be on these cards. You need to infuse your energy. You need to smoke out and cleanse any. You don't know who touched those cards before in the manufacturer's place. You have to get off all of that energy, because you only want your energy and you want the divine to work with you, because the cards would be, here's the wisdom. I need a little wisdom and a little guidance. And I'm telling you, you will have one deck that would just, and you shouldn't let anyone touch your cards. No one, because they'll be tuned in with your energy and the cards will just pop out. So I really think that they're blessings, especially when we're trying to, do what we need to do. You're not tapping into anything that is you're just not tapping into anything dark or any of those kind of things. When you're dealing with angelic cards with angels, and different messages, the flower kingdom. I love the flower kingdom. I'm an energy healer, so I deal with herbs. So the flower cards are very grounding, full of vibrational energy, and they work really well with me. So I would really, really just consider it. It could be really great to work with your path if you need a little direction, a little clarity. And sometimes it's just things that and then when you get the card, you're like, okay, angels, are you playing with me right now? Like, oh my God. So you can have a really great time. And also it could help with renewing your faith, recharging yourself, giving you hope and inspiration, and knowing not to give up, because there's a lot of people that come to me who are very religious and who are completely lost and don't know where to do and scared to death with everything and full of fear. And they really need to start to come in and get the connection, get the connection, get the message, come in with peace, because, the religious people, they have their words, they have a lot of stuff in them, but they now need to apply all of these things. And that is the beauty of spirituality, is that the spirituality side, people are really learning how to be centered and to meditate and to clear their mind and allow the energy to flow. And they're manifestors of intention. They're doing what it says in these holy books. You're just not just memorizing things and wearing nice clothes and, having the appearance, but, they're actually flowing. They're actually working through all of this divine gifts that we have on this universe. And this is how we access the kingdom. This is how we access the gifts. There's a lot of information out here and there's a lot of divine intelligence. But if you're fear-based and you're scared and you're not applying the tools, then you're closed to receiving any information. So with all that goodness that you've learned, open yourself up and have a beautiful flow of energy to flow through. You know what I mean? I just really think that angel cards really do give a good perspective, something different, and something fun. And as long as you have your angels with you, you're good to go, because the angels will protect and shield you from anything. And you just don't want to get involved in any of that kind of stuff. But if you're looking for direction, if you're, just a private person or whatever, this is a great way, just to see what's going on with you and your energy, and to help enhance my life. It was like, I called them like my grandmother or something. They're like my wisdom, because I could be thinking one way and then I get a message. I'm saying, you know what? They're right. I should be going this way. I should be thinking like this. And it always has bettered my life. And I've made some different decisions, and it really has been very impactful. So, something to think about. So see you in the next message. Thanks again. This is Goddess Valentina, and I have a wonderful energy healing shop on Etsy.com, and it's called Happiness Matters 88, and you should take a look and see. It's a great high vibrational site to get all of your energetic needs with cleansing and herbs and candles and anointing oils and readings and crystals, and it's just a fun shop to take a look at. So I would love for you to come by. If it's not for you, at least you can come and stop by and just send some love. Anyway, thank you so much, and talk to you guys soon. Bye.